In this video, we'll give you 6 late-round running backs we can't stop drafting in 2024 fantasy leagues. I'm Jim Coventry, along with Anthony Cervino of RotoWire.
Jim, my first running back in the late rounds, I can't stop drafting Tyrone Tracy, New York Giants, ADP 160. And Tyrone Tracy has a path to workload and snaps. No Saquon Barkley means opportunities for other running backs. And I get they have Devin Singletary, they have Eric Gray, but Tracy does things a little bit different. He, in college, was a wide receiver earlier in his career until transitioning to running back. So he does bring a flashy pass-catching skill set. And in the coaching history of Brian Daboll, he likes to run the football. That means there's going to be more running opportunities for this backfield. And Singletary, is he going to command the entire workload? In theory, he should as a veteran. He knows Daboll. He knows the system. But one of his weaknesses is as a pass catcher, which, again, puts Tyrone Tracy in line to see the field. Now, after transitioning to running back at Purdue, Tyrone Tracy excelled with 6.6 yards per rush and a high explosive run rate of 23.1%. which led his class, according to PFF. Tracy has already been working with the first-team offense in off-season workouts and has a legitimate shot to opening the year as a number 2 running back on this offense over Eric Gray, because let's face it, we did not see a lot of Eric Gray last year. That will be a position battle, but I am siding with Tyrone Tracy, who has an opportunity to outperform his very, very cheap ADP.
My first later round running back that I can't stop drafting is Ray Davis of the Buffalo Bills. Davis is going just outside pick 140 in the average drafts. Now, the thing that we like about Ray Davis, and I was not a great fan of him coming out of college, but he was a downhill runner, and he was a powerful inside runner. And so this could not have been a better landing spot in Buffalo, because we saw it last year. Buffalo wants to complement James Cook with an inside grinder. That is Ray Davis. Now, with James Cook still there, Cook's going to be the lead back. We understand that. Cook's going to see the passing down role. Remember this, though. Last year, even when Cook was playing, the Buffalo backup running backs were commonly playing 30 to 40 snaps in many games. That could turn into 8 to 12 carries per game for Ray Davis. Also, the interior running backs that were subbing in for James Cook last year had 16 carries inside the 5-yard line. Those looks project to go to Ray Davis. Of course, Josh Allen is going to get some of those. But regardless, Ray Davis should have a useful floor. And if, unfortunately, Cook should miss time at any time, Davis would likely step into a more prominent role. But even on his own, there is some fantasy value.
My next late round running back I can't stop drafting is D'Onta Foreman, Cleveland Browns pick 181. And D'Onta Foreman is a very good running back, deceptively good. Now, he's carved out a role in 3 different backfields in the past 3 seasons, averaging right around 54.4 rushing yards per game with 12 touchdowns on the ground in 35 appearances between the Titans, Panthers, and Bears. Now, there is an early path to playing time if Nick Chubb is limited or misses games early in the season. And while Jerome Ford is there, I kind of think D'Onta Foreman is the better in between the tackles runner, and his skill set might be more similar to Nick Chubb than Ford's. In that 3-year time period, D'Onta Foreman has 8 100-yard games. 0 of them came last year. Now, in those situations, it was kind of similar to what D'Onta Foreman's facing now. In those situations with the Titans, the Bears, and the Panthers, he opened the year buried on the depth chart, and through injury or otherwise, found his way to playing time. And I'm banking on similar this year, because there's no guarantee Nick Chubb opens the year healthy. And even if he does, he'll probably be limited coming off that knee injury. Jim?
If you enjoy videos like this, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe to the RotoWire Fantasy Football channel on YouTube. Also, check out all of our fantasy football content and rankings by getting a free 2-day trial with no credit card needed. Just go to rotowire.com/Jim to see all of our content. Now, my next running back later round, who I can't stop drafting, is Antonio Gibson of the New England Patriots. Gibson, we know, very talented receiver. As a running back, we're not sure what he is. We know he's had fumble issues. We know he doesn't always read the run lanes as he should. So maybe Gibson is best suited as a receiving back. Well, we know the Patriots signed Ramondre Stevenson to a longer-term deal. He's a big part of their plans, and we know Stevenson can catch the ball. However, Gibson is an outstanding route runner and would be a great hurry-up back. And certainly you want to give Stevenson some rest because he has missed, Stevenson, 5 games in 2 of the last 3 seasons. So Gibson has a very good chance of emerging as a weapon in a PPR format, seeing hopefully 4, 5, 6 targets in many games. And we know that Gibson can create after the catch. Great use of a later pick.
Jim, my next running back, I can't stop drafting in the later rounds, and I might get killed for this one. Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I get it. He's left a lot of bad taste in everybody's mouth. He never lived up to his draft stock, and he's been a perennial bust. But CEH does have a path to playing time, as crazy as it sounds. Jerick McKinnon is no longer on this team, and he figures to open the year as a primary handcuff to Isaiah Pacheco. Now, there are other guys in this backfield to consider, like Deneric Prince, Keontae Ingram, Amani Bailey, but we don't really know who they are. It would probably take a lot for them to steal a job from CEH, who has been there and has familiarity with the Andy Reid system and how they do things in Kansas City. And once again, if Pacheco goes down, CEH has that path to a significant workload. CEH, 81st percentile positive run rate, 98th percentile average yards after the catch last season. I'm throwing the darts at CEH purely because he is the primary handcuff to Pacheco on one of the best offenses in the NFL. Jim?
Running back that I can't stop drafting is Audric Estime of the Denver Broncos. Estime goes about 190 picks in the drafts. Remember, the Broncos drafted Estime in the 5th round of this year's draft, and he profiles as an inside banger at 5'11", 221. We saw last year, Sean Payton brought in specific offensive linemen and some extra tight ends because the goal was to establish a power running game. Javonte Williams was disappointing. Now, some consider that Williams may have been slowed in his return from an ACL, but still, throughout his career, Javonte Williams had issues with vision and getting beyond what's blocked. Audric Estime profiles as a runner who can get quickly into space and make moves from there, and he does have good vision. He needs a good camp, Audric Estime does, and he needs Javonte Williams to continue to underperform. But there is a role to be the goal line back and the early down back if Estime is able to take over.